Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so as y'all can see, we are doing a transformation cut on this video. As you can see, I'm cutting off my man's wig, man. We're taking it all the way down to number 5. He was doing the comb over for a minute, but he decided to switch it up. So I have my number 5 guard on my 50 cal BMGs, and I'm taking this all down to that desired length. And y'all know how your boy does it, man. I'm going against the grain. I'm gonna go across the grain and all that just to make sure it's all down to that number 5 guard. And then on the sides, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be doing a number 2, but with the metal blades, and then we're gonna be doing a high taper. So I have my Andis Supras right here. This is my number 2 blade on my clipper, and what I'm doing is I'm going right above where the C cup meets the vertical bar, so halfway into that section, and I'm using that to basically set in my first guideline to where I want to start fading the sides into the top. And we're just gonna go all the way around the sides, guys, getting all that down to that number 2 blade, because this is the length we're gonna keep on the sides. And as you can see, I am using a flick out motion, and the reason for that is I just want to make it easier for me to fade, this shorter hair into the longer hair on top. Alright guys, so now I'm using my next blade up, which is a 3.5. So what I'm doing here with my 3.5 is, guys, I'm coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, using a slight flick out motion. That way I don't create any harsh lines, trying to fade what I did with that number 2 blade into the top of my client's head. And this isn't gonna fade it in completely. I know I'm still gonna have to go in and use other blades, but it's gonna help soften that line and make this, this blend easier on the eyes. And I do want to apologize for the blurriness of this part of the video right here. You know how it is, man. Sometimes it just don't record properly. This is my next blade up, which is a 3 3/4, and this is slightly bigger than a 3.5, but not as big as my 5/8. So what I'm doing here is I'm just coming up a little bit higher than what I did with my 3.5 blade, and I'm still doing the same thing, using a slight flick out motion, basically trying to get the sides to fade into the top, but I don't want to come too high, so I am using the flick out motion, and I'm floating that clipper the closer I get towards the top of my client's head. And as y'all can see, it's softening up all these dark areas, really making this blend come together. So now here is my 5/8 guard, and to me, the 5/8, I said guard, but I mean blade. But to me, the 5/8 blade is it's really close to a number 4 guard. So this is basically gonna fade into the top. So as y'all can see, I'm just floating that clipper, flicking at that line, trying to get that line completely out. And for the most part, it gets it out. There is a slight faint line at the bottom of this fade right here, and that's what I'm doing right here. I have my number 2 blade back on my clipper, and I'm just cleaning all that up on this side of the haircut. Alright, so now that that is done, we have our baseline of what we doing on the side. I'm taking my trimmer. This is the wall detailer, and I'm setting in my bald initial guideline. Remember, guys, we are doing a high taper, so we're cutting off that whole C cup, and we're coming in with that guideline at a diagonal angle towards the top of my client's ear. And since I have the trimmers in my hand right now, I'm gonna go ahead and line him up behind the ear, just because it's gonna make it a little easier for me to see this actual blend. So now we're gonna take that down to razor. This is the new Andis Resurge. Pretty decent razor, guys. Now I'm going in with my clipper all the way open, and I'm gonna be coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, using a flick out motion. That way I don't create any harsh lines. And I also gotta keep in mind how much room we have to the top of my client's head. And as you saw me do right there, I did close my lever halfway. I came halfway into that section, and then I closed my lever all the way and attacked that bottom line. Now this is me going in with my number 1 guard, lever all the way open. And I'm coming up about another 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, still using that flick out motion, guys. You want to continue to use that flick out motion. That way it fades into the longer hair easier. And as you saw me do right there, I closed my lever all the way, and I'm attacking that bottom guideline. And it's not going to take that guideline out completely. I'm going to have to come back in with my 0 guard, and that's what I'm doing now. My lever is halfway open, flicking at that line. Doesn't get it out completely, so I had to close my lever all the way, and I'm still just flicking at that line, using some lever play to make that part really blend. and now I'm going in with my number 2 guard. So even though we did a number 2 blade on the sides, that's technically like a hair shorter than my number 2 guard. However, I wanted to use this number 2 guard towards the top of the taper area, towards the front of my client's hairline. That way that part of the hair starts to fade into the number 2 that we did on the sides. I hope that makes sense. And now this is my 1.5 guard, my 1.5 guard lever open, and I'm coming right below what I did with that number 2 guard, and then I'm closing my lever all the way and I'm coming right below that. And as you can see, it's really cleaning up this blend a lot, making it look a lot better, but I still got some more work to do. So as you can see here is, I got my number 1 guard back on my clipper, and I'm going back in, doing some more detail work, basically just trying to get this blend to come together. And like I said earlier, guys, you can see the blend coming together. You know, I still got to put some work to it, put some elbow grease to it, but you know, it's starting to look a lot better. And as you can see, I'm using some lever play just to get this blend to come together. And you're gonna see me switch through guards. This is my 1.5 guard again, going back in with it, open, close, just whatever you feel is needed to get that blend to come together. And this is me going in with no guard on my clipper, just no guard, lever open and closed halfway, you know, going notch by notch, just trying to clean up that taper. And now I'm moving on to my client's lineup. And y'all know how your boy does it, guys. I'm starting off in the middle of my client's hairline, setting in my first initial guideline, and then I'm gonna start to work my way over to that vertical bar. And then we're gonna hit that vertical bar and just really make this whole blend or this whole taper come together. And then once that is done, we're gonna go back in and detail it some more, because I just feel that once you put that lineup in there, it really makes that fade pop even more, and you can see what discrepancies are in the fade or the blend or whatever you need to do to make that blend look even better. So I hadn't used my 50 cals in a while. I put them back out, you know, earlier last week, just to give them another go, man. I forgot how smooth they cut, man. They actually cut really good. I might have to put them back into my rotation, man. It's tough, man. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I think I'm gonna throw them back into my rotation. Let me know if y'all want to see me do more haircuts with this 50 cal BMG. But nonetheless, guys, getting back into this haircut, we on the opposite side of my client's head, setting in his lineup behind the ear, and we're gonna go ahead and start to bald him out, get everything ready to start tapering into the longer hair. And once again, guys, what we did to one side, we gotta do to the other. So I'm gonna be doing the same exact thing. I believe I'm gonna attack this side of the haircut exactly the same as I did on the other side. I may switch up some small things here and there, but once again, guys, sometimes when I move on to the second side of the haircut, I really go into autopilot, and I'm just worried about getting this haircut done now. Like the first side, I take my time, I try to show the clipper to the camera, that way I know what guard is what. But the second side, I just jump in and start cutting. But nonetheless, guys, I believe we're doing the same exact steps, just trying to get this blend to come together. And so far, I feel like we're doing pretty good, man.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
So one thing about blending, guys, is sometimes you're gonna have to take your eyes off the blend for a little bit. And that's the reason why I like to line up, you know, blend it in and then line up my client and then go back to the blend. And then sometimes, for instance, after I'm done with this side, I go back to the opposite side just to make sure it was 100% completed and looks, you know, it looks good in my eyes. But now what I'm doing here is I'm lining up the opposite side of my client's head, basically just trying to make this side match the opposite side. We're trying to make like a mirror image on this side of my client's head. So now that lineup is in, I'm gonna go ahead and detail some more, really get this blend to pop and really make everything look just more unison and make it look like one, you know, full haircut. We still gonna do the back, so that's what we're doing now. I'm taking my wall detailers, I'm setting in my initial bald guideline, and I know I don't record a lot of back tapers, you know, when I'm recording my videos, and the reason for that is, for one, the angle isn't the best angle, and for two, I get pressed for time, you know what I'm saying? But I decided to record this side, or the back side of this taper, because I had a little bit of time, and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and record it. But guess what, guys? My steps are gonna be exactly the same. I went in with my trimmer, set him up with the bald guideline, going in with my shaver now, getting all that down to razor, and then I'm gonna start to fade with my lever open, and then my one guard, etc., etc., etc. But I understand how the back can sometimes but sometimes it can be a little harder than the sides. A lot of times, especially on kids, we have those crevices in the middle of the client's head, or just some bumps, different type of hair texture, or their hair pattern grows a different way. So the back sometimes is more difficult than the sides. So I did decide to record this just so y'all can see me attack the back. And I still like to set in my guidelines in a rainbow-like shape, and I just feel it gives the taper a better look. And that's just my opinion, guys. You don't have to do this. I know some barbers just set in their guidelines straight. Tapers come out fine, but I've noticed when I set in my guidelines in a rainbow-like shape, it makes the taper look better. And that's just my opinion. But nonetheless, guys, we're going back into this haircut. Got my number one guard on my clipper, lever open, and I'm just continuing to try to blend this into the longer hair on the sides. And then after this, I'm gonna use my 1.5 blade, or I'm sorry, my 1.5 guard, and I'm gonna try to blend the top of this blend into the, oh, I'm lying. See, I confused myself. I'm doing my 0 guard, taking out that bottom line, or not the very bottom line, but the line between the bottom line and the one y'all saw me messing with right now. And this is the 0 guard once again, cleaning all that up, detailing it, just trying to make it look a lot better than what it already does. And now I'm going in with my 1.5 guard, lever open, and then I'm gonna adjust my lever closed. And now I'm going back in and just detailing it, trying to clean it all up. And when it comes to detailing, guys, you can be as detailed as you want. You can take as much time as you need. Some people, they don't like to take a long time detailing. Some people detail while they're cutting, and I do the exact opposite. I like to set in my guidelines, fade my hair in, and then go back and detail. For me, I just feel that it gives my clients a better look and gives my haircuts a better look. Alright, guys, so we are gonna add enhancements. As you can see, I'm using some semi-permanent paint. This is No Drip from Tomb 45, and y'all know how your boy does it. We just spraying enough to make it look sharp but not make it look fake. And then we're gonna go back over it with some hairspray just to really lock that color in. And then we're gonna add some hair fibers on top of that, and then we're gonna hit it with some hairspray again just to lock those hair fibers in. And I don't do this on all my clients, guys. Most of the time I don't do it on some of my kid clients, but he's an older kid. I wanted to make sure he looked super fresh, especially since we just cut off all his hair, gave him a whole new look. So I wanted to make sure he looked really sharp, so he just left the barbershop feeling good about himself. And as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm taking my wall detailer and I'm just relining up my client. That way that line is nice and sharp. And now I'm going in with my razor, just getting these lines even sharper, really making this edge up pop even more. Alright, guys, so check it out. This is how my boy came into the shop looking, and this is the final product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. Remember, guys, if you want to book an appointment with your boy, you can go to my website, tangbychopping.com. You can book on there. If you want me to record it for YouTube, make sure you put on in the comment section that you want it to be for YouTube. I am in the Houston, Texas area in case you're interested. But other than that, guys, I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, YouTube, let's go. You.